in the form of Samuel L. Jackson. And he had one throwaway line. They were hoping it would lead to more, but didn't really get there. You know, you had around the same time the Ed Norton Hulk movie came out, and at the end of that, Robert Downey Jr. showed up and was talking to Ross, the bad guy in that movie, and he was talking about the Avengers and all of that stuff too. So it's like they were starting that. And then it took off from there because they brought in Joss Whedon to oversee the Marvel movies. And he was there until, I think it was the end of the second Avengers movie, where he was the guy, the one guy that all the ideas had to go through. And he made sure that there was a consistency of story and that you didn't have overlapping characters and that you didn't mention someone or show someone in something and then in the next movie completely erase that.
And I'm sure there's so much more that we're missing, and I'm sure there's so much more that we could talk about. But yeah, that was some of the most informative info. Some of the most informative info. Yeah, that's right. On comic books or the whole DC Marvel thing.
Like 2 words in the middle sentence.
Yeah.
He didn't know where he was going with
I ran into a wall there. No, but seriously, thank you so much for all the info. And that was interesting to learn about.
Glad I could be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you take this time to do, as you always do, plug your show, plug anything that you like.
Well, thanks.
Plug your shows.
I
plural.
appreciate it. I promise anyone listening, I am more interesting on my own show, Nerdy Things Podcast, because I rely on Tom and Austin to make me look good here, and I don't have that crutch on my own show. You can find us every other week at nerdythingspod.com. You'll also find our other shows there where we host Nerdy People Play D&D. We host the Good Place podcast, Everything is Fine, which comes out every week where we follow one episode of NBC's The Good Place with an episode of ours. And we have Jules, one of my co-hosts there, has his own podcast, SA Sounds, where he goes over musicians from the San Antonio area.
Oh, cool.
Very cool. Yeah, that's really cool. And plenty of content, plenty of information. Love your shows. I haven't been, I'm a little bit behind. I got to admit, I'm a little bit behind the last couple of weeks. I'm actually behind almost all of my podcasts, but you know, that's the way it goes, I guess.
I hate that feeling.
It's weird. It's weird. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, that happened. Yeah. It's crazy. All right. Well, Kevin, thank you as always for coming on and educating us on, well, specifically me, on pop culture. Austin was pretty much like, yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's common knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm there and I'm here like, what? That's amazing.
Mind blown.
Thanks as always. We will be in touch again. And I can't imagine what else we're going to miss. 1 month of no pop culture, and we miss everything. So thank you, Kevin. Please check out the Nerdy Things podcast if you want more of this and less of me. Let's take a break from this madness. Also at one point called a shit show, and we'll be right back.
All right, sounds good, Tom.
And so ends our big dumb show. It has been a pleasure today, an absolute pleasure to talk about our treasonous president and his administration and all that good stuff. It's been fantastic. It really has.
Yeah.
Austin, what are your final thoughts?
Impeachment now, impeachment tomorrow, impeachment forever.
Forever.
See,
and ever.
If you replace segregation with impeachment, that speech doesn't sound so awful.
It doesn't sound as bad. No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound nearly as bad. No.
And yes, our president has most likely committed treason, but I don't think that's shocking to any of us. And he's done it probably out of stupidity, which is even less shocking.
Yeah, because apparently there were reports coming out saying that he thought it went really well. Like,
Of course he did, because he's an idiot.
oh, he is an idiot. That is for sure.
And I think I would just like to say, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, please keep pissing off all of the donut Twitter people and all of the establishment Democrats. It is so hilarious watching their meltdowns.
It is. It's really fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
And you know what? Fuck it. You're not going to Washington to cozy up with them. You're not.
No,
you're going to Washington
they're not going to
make
like you,
change.
and you're not going to like them.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what you do, you can butter up to them as much as you want. If you stick to your platform, they're not going to like you because you're not going to support their ideas. Nope. So fuck it. If that's going to happen, then just go ahead and fucking do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and for everybody interested in the upcoming elections, look out for the House race in Washington, where Sarah Smith has a good chance of pulling in Ocasio-Cortez and upsetting a long-standing incumbent. And then, we have a chance to send another incredibly progressive woman to Congress.
Who's been on our show?
Been on our show. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Tom, always with the marketing in the back of his mind. But yeah, so let's pull for her. And I'm going to start tweeting about that race, coming up soon to try to raise awareness, because I know all of our tweeting really tipped the scales in the last election.
Oh yeah, we're like Russia influencing elections.
Yeah. So you can thank us, Alexandria, and
yes, it was all us. Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
I mean, it's hard. I say this a lot. It's really hard.
I say this a lot. It's always hard
to keep up with the news.
Okay. Glad you finished that.
Thank you. It really is. It's a difficult task to keep up with everything that's going on. I'll tell you this. 2 days ago, I had my line of stories, at least in my head, not in paper, because I wait until the last second to do that. And the stories that I was going to go over, none of them were covered today, except for the Ocasio-Cortez. None of them.
That was the only one that stuck.
And then one thing... Yeah, and then one thing after another, after another, after another, and it's like, well, there goes my fucking plan, And there's other cool stories too, like the band and activist group Pussy Riot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
in Russia, so they staged a run onto the field on the final in Russia for the World Cup.
Oh, nice.
So a fan or one of them or one of the people that's part of their group ran onto the field during the World Cup final, which doesn't happen.
No.
And Putin was there. Macron was there. All the world leaders were there, at least the ones who were involved, Croatia and all that. Mm-hmm. And that happened. And that's a cool little story because they're in jail right now. They got sentenced to a 30-day jail sentence. But that's a story I wanted to talk about. Never got to because everything else happened, which is fucking annoying.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Other than that, thank you, Kevin, for coming on our show and telling us about the pop of the culture. Yeah, so that's all I have for my final thoughts. We do have a couple things we got to go over before we do the social medias and all that. We have a couple more comments.
Ooh.
Yeah, we have a couple more comments and reviews and a new patron. So
lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. It was a very eventful week. So let's go to iTunes for that review.
Just totally.
It comes from our good friends, Miles and Crawford. At variety_Crawford. The title is Shooting Beer Out of Your Nose Funny. 5-star comment. Oh my God, so great. Thank you so much for that. Tom and Austin present the current events facing not just the U.S., but around the world. Educational, wrong. Insightful, wrong. Thoughtful, wrong. With a healthy dose of wit, wrong, and hilarity.
Okay, we'll
Fake
give you
news.
that one.
I love this podcast, and it's quickly becoming one of my top podcasts to listen to. Keep it up, guys. Hey, we're going to keep it up because we have nothing better to do with our lives. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that 5-star review and the comment.
Although I have to say before you go on,
Go ahead, Austin.
We do present news from around the world, but it's not actually we who do it. We invite on our unpaid intern, Stephen. Actually, who pays us?
We'll take the credit for that. So we take the credit for that. So thank you, Stephen.
Yes, thank you.
Also, by the way, Austin, that was our 30th review on iTunes.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Oprah. I don't know why you had to read it like that.
And you get 5 stars. And you get 5 stars. 30 reviews.
Yes,
wow.
that is quite,
that's amazing.
So thank you so much for the reviews.
If you want... Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
And listen, if you want your 5 seconds of fame, minor, very, very minor fame, go to iTunes, give us 5 stars, leave us a comment, and we will read it on the show like we just did right there and then. So go ahead and do that.
And I believe 5 seconds of fame is Tom's porn star name.
Oh no, but that's definitely my new cover band.
Oh yes.
That's my new cover band. It's a 30 Seconds to Mars cover band.
5 seconds of fame. I like it. Did they even have that much fame?
Oh, that's cruel. But
it's true. It took them longer to get to Mars than they had any fame.
I did, yeah. Hey, and then we got one more thing to present. Some pretty exciting news. We have a new patron.
This is my favorite part because I get money.
Exactly. Thank you, the Foz. That's it. The Foz.
Okay. Awesome.
For becoming our newest patron, you chose the second tier, which is what you get the voicemail in one of our stupid voices, which will be coming up soon, by the way.
Yes,
and
you've picked one of the most exquisite and bigly voices, but we're not sure who's going to do your bigly exquisite voice.
It's one of us. It's one of them. We're fighting over it. You also get a free digital copy of Austin's new album, The Path Ahead, Path Ahead, not The Path Ahead.
No, it is The Path Ahead. You're right the first time.
Okay, Path Ahead, The Path Ahead, same fucking thing. It's like Eagles. It's the Eagles. It's still a crappy band from the 70s.
That's true.
Except your album's really good. I love you, Austin.
Are you sure my album isn't a crappy band from the 70s?
And then also, and this is all just the second tier. Just the second tier. Once we get enough people in the second tier, we conduct a Google Hangout session.
Oh, yes, that archaic technology.
To us and ask us anything you want. Is it? All right, fine. We'll do something else. Right now it's Google Hangout, but
maybe a Discord chat.
Shut the fuck up, Austin. I'm trying to present our Patreon page, and you're fucking shooting it down as I'm saying it.
Look, I'm a social critic. What can I say?
Holy shit! Go fuck your social criticism. Jesus.
All right, that's gonna be hard to do.
So thank you, the Foz. By the way, who's from Australia? Little global support, which is really cool.
I'm shocked at how much global support we get.
Yeah, it's really disturbing.
I'm going to chalk it all
Aussie.
Yeah, I'm going to chalk it all up to Stephen. I think he gets us our global support.
Yeah. And
absolutely. Of course, our semi-regular guests, the two skeptical chaps.
Yes, they have something to do with it, except they're not patrons. So,
they pay me for stuff. So,
oh yeah, lucky you. Okay, that's all I have. As always, you can find our show on iTunes and Blog Talk Radio for now for free. You are also on all of the social medias, and that includes Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, other stuff, all under Dumb All Over Pod. Hey, also, if you made it this far in the show, you're probably a decent fan. And if you like our show, I want to let you know, we're going to start advertising this right now, that we will be doing a live episode of Dumb All Over for the primaries on November 6th.
Yeah, it'll be live coverage of the primary.
it'll be like a show